Hello, and welcome to the Table and Well podcast. I'm Tennison.
And I'm Ginelle. Thank you for joining us as we discuss topics and give practical tools that help you live, grow, and be in healthy, joy-filled relationship with God, yourself, and others.
For more information and resources, or if you're looking for coaching, connection, and community, visit tableandwell.org. We hope you enjoy this podcast. Hello, and thank you for joining us today on the Table and Well podcast. This is episode number 38. We are in season 3, and this is another step along the way in our Wisdom Keepers series, the role of elders in building healthy community. And the series has been fantastic, and we've had really awesome guests that we've been able to talk to and have really great conversations with. And today is no different. So we are honored today to have Dawn Whitestone on our podcast. She's a friend, and we absolutely love her. She's amazing. And she is the founding partner of WhiteStone Professionals, and she serves as a director of Deeper Walk School of Ministry. She is a counselor, a coach, a leadership developer with a deep passion for helping people grow in their calling, both personally and professionally, through connection, healing, and purpose. Dawn, thank you for being with us today. We are so glad you're here.
I am honored and frankly tickled to be a part of this. I've been listening to this Wisdom Keepers series and thinking, wow, I'm so proud of you two.
Oh.
It's like,
You knew us way back
great.
in the very early days.
Yes, before Table and Well existed.
It's true.
Yeah, you are, honestly, you are really a key part of what we are doing and how we're doing it. That's right, because you went down to one of her retreats or
your business retreat, and I went for the sole purpose of my business. It really had nothing to do with this concept of Table and Well or any of that. I can't even remember what year that was. 2019.
It had to be 2019, I think.
18.
I think so. Yes.
I think it was 2019.
Yeah. And Table and Well wasn't born until 2020.
Yeah.
So kind of fun.
Wow.
Yep. We had so much fun in our rare leadership group. So
yes.
I'm just thrilled to be here.
Yeah.
Yes, it's so fun.
This is great.
It's so fun.
It. Yes.
You knew us as babies, Dawn. You knew us really in our infant maturity.
Yeah. And you were, yes.
Fun times.
Very fun times. Oh, awesome. Well, yeah.
All right.
Let's do this. Okay. I'm excited.
Well, our first question that we always love to ask in this podcast is, how do you define an elder? What makes someone a wisdom keeper in your eyes?
I love that question. And I do think I tend to look at it differently than some of the other people in life model circles. Not so much, not that I would correct them in any way, but because I've been in the business world, I see how people move through those stages of maturity in that context.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit different than at home. So I think the primary way I would define elders is that they see the glory in people and they call it out.
Ooh, I like that.
And true elders feel God's love for others, and they hear him whisper what's good about a person, especially when that glory is hidden from most people.
Yeah.
So just call it potential, but I think it goes beyond that. And then, I have some other thoughts about that too. I think elders have the long view because they know what it means to wait on the Lord and to trust him. And sometimes that means they see opportunities when other people see only problems. And sometimes it means they see the problems coming when they're still far off, you know, and they're trying to warn you, and everybody's like, oh no, it's no, and you're like, no, really, you need to pay attention to this. And so it's, elders know when to zig and when to zag, and especially when everybody else is doing other stuff. And then the third thing I would say, and this is the hardest part, is that elders have been invited by God to suffer with him for his children. elders know how to be with us in our suffering and truly bear some of that burden. So I would say those are the three things that to me define true elders.
Yeah. That partnering with God in our suffering, elders are really an extension of parenthood. It is that mature step. And we get that. We wouldn't call it that, I don't think, in parenting.
Right.
Although I'm looking at my son and his wife right now, parenting 2 under 3, and I'm like, you are partnering in suffering. They're tired.
Yeah.
And when they come here, like it's like, right, I forgot the demand and how much like I have that I want and need to do, and how I have to lay that down, lay it down, lay it down, lay it down. And I think that's a really interesting parallel when it comes to elders, because we think for some reason that ends when our kids grow up and get out, and now we can just focus back on ourselves and everything we want to do. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think parenting adult children is far harder than any of the other stages, because you have no control. You know, a toddler, you can pick them up and do something with them. With your adult children, you just sort of hold your breath an awful lot of the time. So yeah.
I can't remember who we were talking to, but it was the idea of like when your children move into that adult stage of maturity, it's actually where then we can begin to practice being elders. So we can practice, with our own kids and their community of friends to help elder them. So when they become adults and they are out of the house, and we have a community of people that we're working with that we've already done this a little bit, so we actually know a little bit of how to navigate this, but they don't teach this in school.
And I think the point is so clear of like, elder doesn't equal, or even like adult children doesn't equal. Like you just get to take a back seat now and just like stop caring, or stop coast, or stop sacrificing. Like it's just a different level of care that still costs.
It's an evolution.
Yeah
I think that's really interesting, because it kind of rolls into this next question a little bit. So because you do develop leaders in the business world, and so and in this realm of Christendom, as I like to call it sometimes. And so with what you do at the Deeper Walk School of Ministry. And so what do you actually personally think about the role of elders today? I know you've mentioned a little bit in your previous answer, but like, what do you personally think about their role today?
Well, first of all, I think we have a critical lack of true elders in our churches and in our communities. And you see that. I mean, when you look at like if you even just take the definitions, if you look at the book Living from the Heart Jesus gave you, and the charts on what happens when we don't have elders, the whole culture breaks down. And what are we seeing right now? And so I think a lot of what's going on in our culture, and especially with the polarization of people, and how it just seems like we're constantly in conflict with others, and there's this whole us versus them mentality. A lot of that is because we have so few true elders, and people who do have that wisdom, and who are able to take the long view, and able to see the glory in others, even when we disagree with them. And so there's that aspect. We need more people who truly are elders, and we need those who really are elders to be recognized. I think most true elders are unrecognized, certainly in our culture and also in our churches. The church has turned elder into a position rather than someone of character to whom we
Mm-hmm.
go and whom we say, you know what, you just have this stature about you, like you're solid when everybody else is a little flaky, and that's part of what it means to be an elder is you've just developed that sense of okay, I know who I am. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm comfortable with you in your skin, even if you're not,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and those people that I love that title, Wisdom Keepers, that you've been using. And for a long time, I've had the sense that a big part of my calling is to equip, empower, and unleash elders to be forces of good in our churches and in our communities. And because so many people probably, I mean, I think there are a number of people who really are elders, but since nobody else is recognizing them, they're a little uncertain about that. It's like, well, what do I do with myself now?
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm tired of seeing our people who are wise and good and who have a lot to offer the younger generations move into retirement communities or go off on cruises and never to be seen again. I mean, we need you here, stay here and speak into our lives.
Yeah. Would you say that because you really do span both of these worlds so well, Dawn, where you're leading the School of Ministry, you also lead in WhiteStone Professionals with business leaders, like, are you seeing that same parallel in both spaces? We're lacking them in our churches, or we're lacking recognizing our true elders in our churches. Are you seeing that same thing in the business realm as well? Or is it different because of the way business is structured?
That is such a good question. I think a lot of times it's almost easier to see in the business realm, because in business you have to be effective. Now, and you all know this. I mean, there is that sense of, okay, we're going to promote the narcissists. We're going to promote the people who look effective, but who are effective because they're, like Marcus's super chicken story, where he talked about how the super chickens weren't really better than the other chickens. They were just pecking all the other chickens so that they couldn't produce as many eggs. I mean, you do have that aspect. It can be very cutthroat. But when you see people who are truly effective, and not just effective themselves, but are good at raising up others and making the whole team effective, and there's that flow out to the true elders, and really effective people aren't just effective themselves, they make everybody around them more effective. And they amplify joy. They amplify what is good. That's why it's so important that we see the glory that God has put in each person, is so that we can call that forth and amplify it, and not dismiss the problems. We don't want to be in denial, but it's so important to be able to go, okay, yeah, that's a problem, and that's really ugly, and that's really hard. What are we going to do about it? And how do we work together so that we can all be part of the solution?
Life is relationships. Most of us have grown up without learning how to do relationships really well. See, we learn skills such as reading and arithmetic, how to drive a car, or even specific skills needed for work. But what about how to handle big emotions, how to nurture conflict with care, or even to repair relational ruptures and rebuild trust? See, many of us have missed out on the essential skills needed to do relationship. These gaps in our growth affect our lives in very real and painful ways. This is why we have created Relational Collabs. Relational maturity isn't a skill that you're just born with. It must be modeled, learned, and strengthened just like every other skill. Whether you're navigating relationships in your home, in your workplace, or in your community, the Collabs will provide you with the tools and the skills that you need to live relationally well with God, yourself, and others. Growth is possible. Healing is possible. And you don't have to walk this journey alone. Our spring semester of Relational Collabs begins Monday, April 14th. Go to tableandwell.org/collabs for more information and to register today. Join the next Relational Collab and begin to cultivate the life of connection, resilience, and joy that you were made for.
I like the point that you made about, I'm going to kind of tie together what you just shared, the effectiveness, and correct me if I'm not saying this well, but the effectiveness of a true elder is that they make everyone around them better. And I would say, you could say the effectiveness of a true leader would be the same. Like we, for some reason, understand leadership, and then we put the word elder into play, and then we're like, wait, but what do they do?
Right, they get lost.
And it's like, and we would say leader and parent, and we would say, oh, I don't know if that's really, those words either go together. But really, all these theories and strategies around being a great leader, what makes a great leader is also what makes a great parent, and especially a great elder.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not being necessarily the person in the room with the best idea. It's raising the best idea up
in the room.
Yes.
Yeah. Not being the best person in the room, but raising up everyone in the room so that the best comes forward out of everyone.
Yeah. I think that's really good. And like you said, the skills translate, and the biggest difference is you have, I would say it as this, as far as like elders in that space would be the ones that are, they may not be quote unquote leading, but they are the ones that are doing exactly what you said. They have the same skill set and the same, and they're practiced and they're seasoned, and they have the, I can't think of the word right now, but they're seasoned, and but they've been around the mountain one or two times, and they can see it, and so their role is, it's the same, but it's just maybe where their position might be a little bit different.
Well, and I think it's important to note here too that that we don't think of leaders as necessarily the one out front. I think we can also misconstrue that leadership equals the one out front, and often the best leaders are not the ones out front, just like the elders would not be either.
Right.
We, in a hierarchical structure, we like to put people on top or out front or wherever, but in healthy, just like parents, are we out front, or are we really the ones who are like raising our kids?
Well, I think a lot of times, I mean, you all are young elders, and I'm not as young as you are, but we still have enough energy that we can do some leading. But you get to the point where it's like, yeah, I'd rather just consult on this one. You all go lead, and I'll support you. I'll encourage you. I will cheer you on. When you get knocked down in the battle, you can come talk to me, and I will help clean your wounds and say, okay, what did you learn? And what do you want to do differently next time? And so elders, a lot of times, I think, function like consultants in the business world. And, and how often is that what people do? They've been the CEO, they've run the company. That takes a lot of energy to have that kind of responsibility. And you just get to the point where it's like, I don't have the emotional and the physical capacity to be out front anymore, but man, I would love to help those that are coming up. And that gets to be fun.
Yeah. Well, it's making me think about even the maturity pattern and how another role of elders is to help those in the community who may have maturity gaps that weren't fulfilled the first time around. So oftentimes elders will also help those who are wrestling through their infant gaps. And that kind of care looks very different than being an elder for those who are adults. And kind of like we were talking about at the beginning of the podcast, how different it is to parent young adults than it is to parent infants and everywhere in between, right? And
Very
knowing
much so.
like different capacities are required, but all of that is being an elder. It's not just when you get to that consultant stage. It's also maybe in inviting someone over and just allowing them to work through that bonding again and being that close relationship for them. It may be helping them gain skill along the way. It may be helping them identify their needs, and maybe you're one of those people that meet it, or help them identify other people who could meet it. And then eventually, as they mature, or as your community matures, or the differing relationships you might have as you mature as an elder, it will look a lot more like you had said at the beginning of the podcast. Like, you don't have any control once they're young adults. Like, you can't pick up the toddler and move them anymore. Right. And I think that is true in our elder arc as we mature as elders too. It's like we lose control because we also lose capacity control. And so there's a lot more trusting in the process along the way. And it was never really about control in the first place anyway. Right. But it's a different style of partnership. It's a different style of leading. It comes into play. Different style of parenting.
Very much so. Yeah. And there's this weird tension where you have to know your limits, and then also you have to be able to trust God, because sometimes he asks us to go beyond our limits, and that's hard. It's like, okay, I'm supposed to remain relational right now, and I just want to go back home and go to bed.
Right.
And so, you more and more and more leaning into trusting God, but then also not being presumptuous in trusting him. And I'm not sure I'll ever get used to that, but man, I'm getting a lot of practice at it. So
tell me more about that, about being presumptuous and trusting him. What might that look like, Dawn?
In your elder stage of maturity.
Well, I tend to be visionary and strategy oriented, and there are other people who are much better at tactical and getting the details done, So it's really easy for me to go, oh yeah, we can do that. And have the vision for, oh, we've got to reach these people, or we need to set up this new program. And then getting into the middle of it and going, wow, this is a lot more work than I thought it was going to be, and so like last year, we had some things. I'm trying to decide how much detail to go into here, but we were exploring some options with Deeper Walk, and we have a tendency to be experimenters. I personally, I love Marcus Warner's leadership style, and it's very much like Ronald Reagan's. It's what's known as the laissez-faire leadership style, and it's find good people, set the direction, and then let them do what they do. Get out of their way, right? And so we were exploring, what do we do with this? We were given this property, and we were exploring, what do we do with this? And so my husband and I went up there for 2 months, and to see, is perhaps God calling us to move here? Well, there were a whole lot of things that happened, and things got really, really hard. And God made it very clear when I was asking, do you want us to move here? Because it was looking like that at the beginning, like maybe God really wants us to move here and get something going on this property. And the response that I heard was, not now. It wasn't no, it wasn't yes, it wasn't even not yet. It was not now. See what unfolds.
Wow. Okay.
And there was a lot. And then we had some events planned, and the night before we were supposed to start these events, I sprained my ankle, and we had to go to the emergency room. As we pulled into the parking lot of the hospital, I got a call from one of my kids that she was in crisis.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like, okay, this is all, it feels like too much. So I'm on the phone with my sprained ankle. We hadn't even made it into the hospital yet, and I'm trying to console her and talk her through what she was going through. with my husband beside me in the driver's seat, and we're trying to decide, do we need to fly home and take, like,
Wow.
Peace.
Yeah.
what do you do? Like, there's just all of this going on, and having to go, okay, Lord, you have got to guide us. What do we do here? Because I'm at the end of my capacity, and I very definitely have no control over a whole lot of things right now, and supposed to be pulling off a series of events starting the next day. And so coming out of that, I felt like one of the things God said to me was, know your limits. Stop saying yes to everything. But then we got to the beginning of this year, and having gone through all of that, and I'm like, okay, know your limits. And I'm looking at what we try to take time to do strategic planning at the beginning of the year, both for our life and for the work that we do. And I was looking at all the things that were on the schedule for 2025 and going, Lord, you told me to know my limits. This looks like way too much. Like, I don't know. If you don't show up, we're not pulling this off.
Right.
And God was like, yep, that's right where I want you. And he's like, you are absolutely right. You have to trust me for this level of things. And I'm like, okay, Lord.
Yeah.
And so there has to be, the other thing you have to have is a whole lot of humility, because there are going to be times when you're going to fall on your face. And there are going to be times that you fail. And there are going to be times when, I'm way out of capacity, and I flipped my lid right there, and I said some things I shouldn't have said, and now I got to go back and apologize, or, and all of those things are part of being an elder, and part of modeling for other people how you do this, because we're not going to get it right all the time.
You've been listening to the Table and Well podcast. New episodes stream every Tuesday. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please leave us a review to let us know. Also, subscribe on your favorite listening platform to stay up to date on all things Table and Well. To learn more, start your journey, or get information on how Table and Well can help develop your community, family, or teams to be relationally healthy and authentically connected, please go to tableandwell.org/collab to schedule an interest call, or you can email us directly at known@tableandwell.org.